Hey Geekscapists, welcome to a brand new Geekscape podcast. I'm Jonathan London, your host. If this is your first Geekscape, well, strap yourselves in for some pop culture talk. Movies, video games, comic books, TV, all of the wonderful things that we fit into the pop culture kind of classification. That's what we've been doing for 20 years. As a filmmaker, as a comic book writer, I used to write video games. I've done that before. I have a little bit of dabbling experience in the pop culture world, and Geekscape was kind of my place where I could talk to like-minded geeks like yourselves, and maybe some professionals, maybe you're one of them, and discuss the ins and outs of storytelling. Maybe we're talking some news, maybe we're talking just some evergreen classics or storytelling in general. It really runs the gamut here at Geekscape, and that is why I love it. The episode you're about to listen to is our WonderCon episode from 2026. I recorded it this past weekend. It is audio only because I walk around the floor by myself and I see people and I say, hey, let's do a quick interview. And a lot of these people are my friends. Ernie Altbacker has a brand new book coming up, and he wanted to get on the show and I wasn't able to do it, so I found him at WonderCon. I was like, hey, yeah, Ernie, let's do it. I hadn't seen my friend Liana Kangas since the last GalaxyCon I went to in Des Moines. It was good to see her. What else we got? We got some good stuff. Derrick Acosta from Mega 64, we caught up with him. We caught up with my good friend Scott Lost, who he says he's my brother Paul's first tag team partner, but he and I tag teamed again on the Wrestling and Comics panel later that day. And we just got a lot of great people. I ran into my friend Gavin Hignight, who'd been on the show years ago, over 10 years ago, and is now putting out some really high quality figures and toys. And I'm just so proud of him. I think it's so cool. And you just don't know who you're going to see at WonderCon. And that's kind of why I love it. San Diego is just full of people. Like it's hard. It's hard to do these at San Diego because walking the floor is different. It's super crowded in San Diego, and it is dominated by very loud screens and presentations and trailers, and the crowd itself is loud. But at WonderCon, I drove down Friday morning with Ophelia and Heidi, and just kind of hung out Friday and promoted the book. I handed Hear of the Prophecy 2 to some people, saw a couple people, and then it was really a pretty chill day. So chill that I went and donated blood. There's always blood donations with the Comic-Con group here in Southern California. They have one running in the Marriott at San Diego Comic-Con every summer, and I don't do it because we have the booth to run. And I think that's enough of that excuse. Matt Kelly does enough of a wonderful job running the booth that if I, go and donate blood for a little bit, I think it's okay. And it's just a wonderful thing to do to help people out, because there's always somebody in need. There's always somebody who's sick or maybe went through an accident and is looking for donations. The hospitals need them, especially after COVID. It really depleted them. And we ran a blood drive here on Geekscape 3 years ago, and that was important. And it's still important. So I saw that they were giving out like these cool Wolverine shirts, Fantastic Four shirts. I got both because I donated a little extra. And I did it while Ophelia was napping. We were walking the floor, and then Ophelia had to get a nap. So Heidi took her to a quiet part of the convention center, and I went and donated blood. And again, it's just a good thing to do. So why not, when you're celebrating superheroics in comic books, do a little bit of heroics yourself and do some donations. That's kind of just how chill WonderCon is. Saturday morning, not so chill. I got up and brought the family to the No Kings celebration. Again, more heroics. I speak politics on the show. I'm not shy about it. Some podcasts are like, no, do not speak politics. We don't want to alienate members of our audience. Yeah, the fucking house is on fire. I'm going to use my platform, as I have in the past, to say, hey, the house is on fire. Everybody grab a bucket. Let's start putting this thing out. Let's get together. And again, Yeah, I don't know. I can't be reading superhero comics and loving superheroes and writing here, literally a book with hero in the title and Hero the Prophecy, and not think that this is not think that this isn't something I should do. Like I got to be active. We got to be helping to put out the fire. So I took the family to the No Kings celebration in Orange, which was like 15 minutes from the convention center from our hotel. So we were there from 10 till about noon Saturday morning. It was a beautiful day. I had a sign that said I should be at WonderCon, but villains have taken over our government. Met a lot of great people. Felt like I was part of something, which I was. It was 8 million people in the U.S., the largest peaceful protest, the largest protest in the United States was this past Saturday as part of the No Kings. And then I went to the convention center. I recorded these conversations you're about to hear, and then I was on the wrestling and comics panel, and that was a lot of fun. We have one archived in the Geekscape feed. If you want to listen to one of those panels, we have a wrestling and comics panel archived earlier in the feed. Just search for it. You'll find it. All right. That's enough. The weekend was exhausting. We did Friday, Saturday at WonderCon, and then Sunday we took Ophelia to Disneyland, the happiest place on earth. And you can hear my voice. I'm totally just wrecked. But there's, every time I thought I was done and really wanted to start lobbying to go home, Ophelia just kept going. And, much thanks to our friend Peter and Ruth Price. Ruth is a lifetime Disney retiree and a longtime friend, and she got us into the park and showed us the ins and outs to some of the secrets and gave us a bit of a half-day tour there as we went and watched the Bluey show and did some of the things that were Ophelia's kind of age-appropriate attractions, like It's a Small World. And I've been to Disneyland plenty of times, but never as a dad. And there were just moments like It's a Small World, seeing her face, light up, seeing her dance to the Bluey live show that they have going on at Disneyland. Just seeing her see the castle, which is the smallest castle there is in any of the Disney parks, but it's also the only park that Walt ever walked in when he was alive. There's just some magic to it. And when it was getting late, well past her bedtime, and we're still in Anaheim, and I know I have an hour plus drive ahead of me, and Heidi is saying, one more drive. Well, let's do one more ride. Let's take her on one more ride. Let's take her on like something easy, like Little Mermaid or something. Let's go get dinner. And you're sitting there going, oh man, like this is getting expensive for me. Why not? Let's do one more dinner. Let's do one more ride. Let's keep going. And she'll sleep in the car. And she did. We, I was zonked. I was zonked this morning, but as we're leaving the park, she's waving to the park, to no one in particular. Our 20-month-old toddler is going, bye-bye, bye-bye, and she's waving to the park. And that was the best trip to Disneyland ever. I did none of the grown-up rides, none of the Star Wars stuff, none of the roller coaster stuff, just the kids stuff. And it was just a different experience, and it was awesome. It was so cool. I saw the Bluey show twice. My friend Aaron from Suburban Legends, they've been on the show. He's performing in it. It was just magical. It was magical in a way it's never been magical. So this weekend, thoroughly, physically kicked my ass. Completely. Kicked my ass. Totally kicked my ass. Spiritually, professionally. It was fucking awesome. I got to give my comics to Josh Williamson. Writes the G.I. Joe book. Writes wonderful stuff. Just got announced as the writer of Legion of Superheroes for TC. There's just a lot going on. Let me stop here. Let me get you guys listening to some Geekscape. Listen to these conversations with my friends. It's like you were there. Hopefully it's second only to you being there. I love taking you to these conventions. We got another one in May at Comic-Con Revolution in Ontario. And then we got the big enchilada in July. San Diego Comic-Con. And the whole group's going to be there. It's going to be a whole celebration. Enjoy these. Also, go check out the YouTube channel, Geekscape TV, where you can see some of the stuff that Katie covered at WonderCon. And also, on the other side of the country, Shane O'Hare was doing some wonderful video game coverage at PAX East. There was just so much going on this weekend. It's all we can do to try and bring you a ton of it here on Geekscape. Enjoy these conversations. I'll be back at the end. Send me an email. Share this with your friends. And let me know what you think. Geekscapists, I'm walking the WonderCon floor, and I am here with my good buddy Ernie Altbacker. What's funny about Ernie is he asked to be on an episode of Geekscape to promote his Kickstarter for issue 3 of Area 51. Issue 3 or issue 2? Issue 3. Issue 3. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to do a in-studio episode with a guest. But then I thought, no, if I see Ernie at WonderCon walking the floor, he can come on and promote issue 3 of Area 51 on Kickstarter right now. Geekscapists. He came on for issue 1. Now he's here for issue 3, walking the floor. And as soon as I walked in, I saw him.
There you go. Sometimes kismet. Is this just blowing out as far as levels? Okay. Wow, that microphone's near me. All right.
It is, but it's like, hey, check out this microphone. Let me see. No, I used to have a Radio Shack one. I thought this was the old Radio Shack one. I like to get it close because the closer it is, the less of the room it gets. Oh, yeah, right. So I hold it like this, but it's okay. I took a swab. I'm clean. And the only big crowds I've been a part is the one you're walking through right now. I
want the microphone masked as well as myself. Now, so yes, Area 51 Studios, issue number 3. Just a quick reminder. So Area 51 is a secret government base, but it's actually a studio where alien producers make galactic reality TV and shows. So we're now in the section number 3 is where his show becomes like an impromptu galactic hit for no reason of his own. And then we find out it was kind of his plan, but not in this one. The artist Josh White is currently drawing it. We like to get a little bit further down the road so we can fulfill in 2 months after we end the campaign. So we're thinking about starting sometime next month. If you want to check it out, it's at area51comic.com/KS. And that'll get you to the preview or the pre-launch page for Area 51 Studios number 3. And there's some preview pages up already. They're still like kind of in process, but they are colored, so they're fairly well along the way. And we're pretty happy. It's gonna be a beast. It's gonna be 31 pages of story. I went a little long.
Yeah. Here the Prophecy number 2 is 28. The first one was 26. And then the Super Action Man book that I just showed you pages of is 32. And I just had to make it was a conversation with my producer. I was like, hey, this is feeling a little stuffed. Can we pace it out better? Are you okay with this? It makes a better comic. And as you know, it has to be divisible by 4 so that you put a staple in the middle and that. Fulfillment is something that I was ready to do in 2 months, but my brother's signing some of the books. And as I started Fulfillment, he took like a seminar and wrestling gigs in the UK and Europe. And I was like, no, you got to sign these books. And he didn't before he left. So Easter weekend, next weekend, I'm bringing all the books down to meet him. We're going to spend Easter together signing all the fulfillments for Hero of the Prophecy issue 2. And why not? We just started issue 3. So it's like crazy, this assembly line that we're on.
Sounds like a perfect Easter weekend to me.
Unless you have a toddler who wants to go Easter egg hunting. Like, Daddy, stop signing comics. Let's go look for Easter eggs. Where's the Easter bunny?
No, you're like, this is the real life, kid. The world sometimes takes all the eggs and you get none. And Daddy's got to go do some work and do this stuff. So sorry, kid.
Daddy's got to fulfill these 4-color fantasy books, but it's the real world. There's nothing real world about this. We are pursuing our dreams, Geekscapists. We are pursuing our passions. Speaking of which, Ernie was talking about some of the writing he had done for some of the DC animated projects. That's how I met him. He was sitting next to our good friend Tim Sheridan, who writes some of the animated projects of DC, and he's got a new one out that hadn't been out by the time that he had last been on Geekscape. That is the Aztec Batman cartoon, which sounds fucking cool. I love that they got Caucasians to make Aztec Batman over. I'm kidding with you, Ernie.
Oh man, and that was like, whoa. 10% of the people when it was announced were like, colonizers taking our culture and ruining it.
Wait, are you serious? I was just making a joke.
No. 10% on say the left side of the thing are like, you're Warner Brothers, white people are making money off our our culture and everything. And then the 10% on the right were like, look at woke Warner Brothers making Batman brown. They suck, right? So we're like right in the middle of that. But really, it's none of those things. It was a kind of a really cool idea. It's an Elseworld, so no, they're not trying to replace Bruce Wayne as Batman. And it's complete Elseworlds where we tried to go, as opposed to say Batman Ninja, where it's like, here's a time tunnel and that's still Bruce Wayne, but they're in Edo, Japan, costumes and whatever, and everybody's that way. This is, how would the Bat mythos and a Batman rise organically in 1520 Tenochtitlan after the Spanish are coming with Cortez? And of course, in this one, Cortez is a villain. He gets hurt. He gets his face slashed by Jaguar Woman instead of a Catwoman, and it rots, so he becomes Two-Face. And there is an Aztec bat. There is an Aztec bat god, Tzinican, not Camazotz. Camazotz is Mayan. I had to do a lot of study, and we had cultural. We had a cultural PhD in pre-Columbian societies helping us with all the details of it. So it's really like kind of its own thing. And it got a theatrical release in Mexico in 500 screens and ended up finishing 10th out of all films that weekend. And it stayed in theaters for like 3 weeks. So
that's awesome, dude. So you did get the endorsement of the 80% that we're not throwing Molotovs at you.
Exactly. It was pretty cool,
That is awesome, dude. And people can check that out now, and maybe it's on HBO Max or something.
It's pretty much everywhere. You can rent it or buy it on Amazon Prime, and it is on HBO Max right now. And wherever else you do that like download thing. I think it's probably on Netflix too, where you can buy it for whatever $5.99 to watch or something like that.
Ernie's like, I don't know. I just write this stuff.
I don't have to buy it. I get one for free, so that's all I need. And plus, I've seen it a bunch of times, so I'm like, it's fine.
I know it happens. Ernie, dude, thanks for stepping aside here at the convention and talking to me. And you got a meeting to get to.
Thank you. Yes, I do. Oh, so busy. No,
we're so busy. I'm trying to run a bunch of interviews in I figure they gave me a press badge. I'm going to run a bunch of interviews before I have my panel at 3:30.
I feel like we're not getting the whole Geekscape Comic-Con experience because I need you to do something like drink a bottle of hot sauce on camera, and we got to see that. This is okay. I feel like you're just shunting me off. Like, you know what? The radio one's good enough for Ernie. He's got a face for radio.
Dude, Sean Cannon almost killed me. That Cobra Kai son of a bitch almost killed me. And what's insane is I just watched a video. He was talking to another comic book writer, Taboo, from the Black Eyed Peas. He writes comics. Right. And he has a podcast that hated Sean Cannon from Karate Kid 3 on. And Sean Cannon talked about being in Karate Kid 3, and he had some illness that he almost fucking died during Karate Kid 3 and had to be on set in like a week. And he had to start figuring out how to walk, much less do karate. Which is insane. It's on Taboo's podcast, and I should have Sean on to talk about that story because he almost died during the filming of Karate Kid 3.
Okay, I'm unsure. Is it hot sauce related death though?
No, that would have been me. I went back to Pasadena Comic-Con this time, and I asked Sean, like, it's your turn to drink the hot sauce on camera because I puked. I had heart palpitations. It was awful because I'm a numbskull, and I thought I was tough, and I swallowed the whole damn thing, and nobody was doing that. People were sitting there with milk in their other hands. They were pacing themselves with water. I took the hot sauce and I just downed it, and it was a pretty sizable bottle. This isn't, some airline size bottle of hot sauce. And
you gotta
I just downed the damn thing, and it ruined the convention. So I was like, Sean, it's your turn. And he goes, no, you're nuts. That was crazy. It ruined my convention. So this Pasadena Comic-Con, I was fine. I had a great Pasadena Comic-Con. I'm having a great WonderCon, man, and I love talking to you.
Yeah, that's one of the best, like, watching something where they're like, you got to watch my podcast, and someone told me about, you told me about the hot sauce. I'm like, I want to watch that one, and I was like, I'm in for this whole thing here. I'm going to just watch what happens. I think there might be EMTs arriving pretty fast. He looks terrible. He's white, sweaty.
I was laying down outside the Pasadena Convention Center, like laying down, looking at the ceiling, and then I'd sporadically sit up, yak into the bathroom, lay back down, and then one of the convention volunteers came over and brought me water. It was stupid, straight up stupid.
Now, if you got famous enough, your wrestling comic just goes off, right? Famous enough, and then they invite you on Hot Ones. Do you go?
Yeah, because Hot Ones, they're just eating a little chicken wings worth. Nobody on Hot Ones is dumb enough to just take the bottle and down it. And keep in mind, the Scoville rating on that Cobra Bite Venom, whatever the heck that thing was, is as high or higher than anything on Hot Ones. I mean, it was stupid. It was irresponsible. But I could not say no because Cobra Kai had to know I was tougher than him, but also dumber.
That's a perfect way to end this. All right. Yeah, stupid, childish things. Woo! If you jump off a bridge, I will jump off it twice as hard. Yes.
Nobody else jumped off a bridge. I did it by myself. That was the stupidest part of it. I wasn't even imitating anybody. Dude, congrats on everything. Good luck on the Kickstarter. Thank you for issue 2. Let's go get issue 3 past the finish line.
Thank you very much. Please follow me, area51comic.com, area51comic.com/KS. Thank you very much.
Geekscapists, I'm here with my good friend Liana Kangas. She's drawing a picture of Garfield right now, baby Garfield, for a commission on a blank cover. And yesterday, I came by and kind of spooked her. I crept up to her booth and hid behind her books, and she heard me before she saw me, and what I said was, "Do you draw adult content?" And you should have seen her face. What was going through your head when you heard that voice?
If it's not the person that I am so tired of seeing, my God. I'm just kidding.
You get asked that sometimes. The
eye roll was very much for you, though. So
Heidi was like, she rolled her eyes. I could hear it. I could hear her eyes rolling. But it was me just messing with her. You do not have to draw adult content for me. It's a joke. But I am going to see your good friend Timothy Zahn in May at Comic-Con Revolution. And I know from GalaxyCon, maybe Des Moines, that you and he, or maybe it was back in San Jose, that you and he made a pact that if you could get LucasArts or Disney on board, that you would do a solo series to wrap up the solo story. You would do the art. Zahn would write it. We put it out in the ether. We had you guys promise it on the panel. What's the update on that?
There is... You're like, I'm actually just asking for myself. Hello. No update yet, but, there's a lot going on with Lucasfilm. So who's to say?
Guys, those are two solo fans who want to see the series continue, and they are talented enough to make it happen in a great way. How has your WonderCon been? This is a much different con than the ones I see you at. I see you at the Galaxy Cons. Here we are at WonderCon in my backyard. How's it treating you? How are you doing? How are you enjoying it?
Well, it's great. I wasn't bullied into doing a 5K this morning, so that's nice.
Who would have done that? Who would have done that?
I don't know who would. I love this convention. I love California. WonderCon has been so good to me, and I am really enjoying myself here. Today I have no panels, so I just get to meet everybody at my booth, and then tomorrow I get to do a little spotlight on Sarah Gailey, and they are an anomaly to me. So I cannot wait to dig into their brain. But everyone's being so cool. I love WonderCon.
And you got to meet Ophelia and Heidi yesterday. That was amazing.
I'm sorry, but Fifi and I are on a nickname basis. I don't know if you knew that. And I still can't believe that you bagged someone like Heidi. So that's just me roasting you. But also, she exceeded my expectations. I heard so much about her. I'm very excited. She's great.
Yeah, Liana was like, how does a dork like you bag Heidi? Back to Batty. Yeah, it's she really is taking the brunt of it. Doing a convention with a kid is really, really, really hard, and Heidi is just worn out, but she's killing it. And they're at lunch right now, so I'm trying to sneak some interviews before my panel at 3:30 about comics and wrestling, things that I might know a little bit about. I might have a comic book about wrestling and fantasy, but yeah, I have a panel at 3:30 just doing the wrestling panel. And then this morning we went to No Kings and did some protesting. Yep, it was fun because the orange No Kings was only from 10 to noon. And so I was like, oh, let me pick that one that was, and it was also 15 minutes away. So we drove over there. We threw up the signs. We shouted. We honked at cars. We had cars honk at us. We protested, and then I was like, okay, now I feel like a superhero. Let's go celebrate superheroes. And let's do some interviews before my panel. Liana, what's coming out that the Geekscape is going to support you with? And where can they find you to support you? That's really what it's about.
You can check out my Patreon and my web store right now. I have a ton of really cool, fun new merch. And I also have a full new series of covers coming out that's not announced yet, but hopefully will be soon.
But guys, if you join that Patreon, if you start subscribing, or you just occasionally check her out on social media, Liana Kangas, you guys can find out where those covers come out, and maybe you can also find out when that solo series is coming out with Timothy Zahn and Liana Kangas. And since you're on a nickname basis with Ophelia, is she going to show up in any of your work?
Oh, absolutely. What a great person, child, to reference from if I ever have to draw a child.
She's so sweet. And yesterday when we were hanging out and Heidi was chasing her around, she ran into a giant Eevee from Pokemon, and she was not having it. She's like, I was like, she's going to love Eevee. And she's like, this giant monstrosity is chasing me. What is this thing? I am so sorry, Jan, but Fifi did not want to catch them all on that one. She was like, no, that it was a giant Eevee. It was huge. So it was a little much, but she's loving it. She loves the cons. Liana, I hope I see you again in another con.
Same.
It's amazing that you're in my backyard, that you're here at WonderCon. I love seeing you. You get to meet my family. Get to see you. It's amazing. And guys, Liana Kangas, find her Patreon at
Liana, it's at patreon.com/Liana Kangas.
But you have a website, too, that'll lead to it. Yeah, and that is at
LianaKangas.com.
Yeah. So we're all good to go. We're good in the hood. Geekscapists, keep listening and go celebrate and support Liana. Geekscapists, I'm here with my buddy Scott Lost. Scott, why would people know you? You've lived several lives. So how would you familiarize yourself with the Geekscape audience? There's a couple different very heavy genre places where they might know you from, right, or want to know you from if this is the first time you're hearing of Mr. Scott Lost.
Right. Well, did they catch me in their backyard?
Jumping off of something onto somebody else in your old backyard wrestling days?
Just checking stuff out. I mean, like, I want to know in the context of where they found me, and then that's where they would know me from. So, yes, if you watched a wrestling ring and you watched wrestling.
I bring it down because I get some of the room out of it. So it gets a little closer.
I was like, oh my God, this thing's up my nostrils.
You gotta eat it.
Yeah, I could smell your saliva on this thing.
Oh, well, that's just me.
Oh, well, I mean, I wasn't.
I'm salivating being this close to Mr. Scott Lost.
I wasn't complaining. I was just letting you know what I was smelling and tasting. I only licked this mic twice since you've handed it to me. So I was a pro wrestler for 10 years. I was in the SoCal circuit. I also wrestled for ROH towards the end a little bit, like I think 1 or 2 shows. But primarily, I would say from Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, PWG, I helped start that promotion. That is currently now defunct. I don't know if it is going to ever run again, but as of right now, it is on a very long hiatus. But it made a nice name for itself for quite a period of time in the SoCal scene and the wrestling scene in general. So that would be number 1. And number 2 would be from comics. So if you are a comics convention goer, you will know me from many of the conventions in SoCal Comics, as well as the SoCal area, WonderCon, San Diego Comic-Con, Comic-Con Revolution, San Diego Comic Fest, but I also attend Phoenix Fan Fusion. I do Amazing Con Las Vegas, Stockton Con. So there's a lot of conventions that you potentially have seen me on if you're on the west coast of the comic convention circuit.
And I know you as my brother's friend, because like the Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, like the famous thing Paul did at Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, I don't think it was even in the ring. It was that bees video or the dolphin thing that he was doing with Brian Danielson. And they were probably high as hell. Probably. And they were talking about the dolphins and this and that. Geekscapists, Google Paul London or Brian Danielson and dolphins. And I was there watching them film that. And I was like, this is so, what the hell? And then it blew up.
Oh, yeah.
It blew up. It was so weird. But that was at PWG, which you were a part of.
Which is very normal. That was the funny part about it, was when they were doing that promo in the back, we're like, yeah, this is them being knuckleheads. Yeah, they're just being themselves, being knuckleheads, and it's fun, and that's what we do there. A lot of the promos and the backstage skits and stuff that we would do that would end up on the DVDs, there was a lot of humor based on a lot of that stuff. Like, it was rare that we were being very serious, because it's just like, yeah, we're just being ourselves.
That's better.
I thought so. I think that's what helped PWG take off, actually, was the fact that everything was very loose and fun, but the matches were still killer. So it was kind of like this fusion of kind of like, a certain like lucha vibe, in the sense where you're like not taking like they're doing serious stuff, but they're also doing crazy shit too. So like there's this balance. And so, yeah, that was just what PWG was. When we did backstage interviews or skits and stuff, there used to be a hint of humor or a full-on blanket of humor over the whole thing. And but then, of course, you get into the ring. That's when you're taking it serious for the most part. We've had a few matches where I'm like, whoa, we brought this guy over here to do this? Like, this is kind of... Like, I know we like to goof around in the back, but, like, you're kind of goofing around in the ring.
When I went to see you guys, and it was almost a rec center show. I think it was the Dolphin show, but there was a guy who came out, and I like wrestling. I appreciate wrestling. The stuff that you guys did is the cruiserweights, the athleticism. That's really my favorite stuff. But there was a guy who came out, and you're going to know exactly who he is, and Geekscapists are going to yell at me because they know who he is. But he had a pop culture vibe, and he did like almost an anime manga style character that was really funny, and he would throw up like the peace sign and stuff like that. Like, what was the name of that dude?
Are you talking about Kenny Omega?
Kenny Omega, one of the most popular wrestlers.
Absolutely.
But the first time I saw him was at that Wrestling Guerrilla show. And I was like, oh, this dude speaks to me, because he's doing so many pop culture references in the ring, and he's so loud and fun in celebrating that influence of like manga and anime and video games. And I was like, what is this? That was my first time seeing Kenny Omega. And then, yes, he blew up. That was Kenny Omega. That was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, like, I had already known him at that point, but one of the things that blew him up worldwide was he had a wrestling match with a little girl in Japan. Like, literally a little girl. She looked to be 6 or 7 years old. Maybe nine, but she was very small. And he had a full-on match with her, like full-on. He's destroying himself. He's destroying her, but then he's also just destroying himself to get her over. And I was like, this guy's freaking awesome. Like you said, he delves into the pop culture. He does Hadoukens. He like throws up the peace sign. He's very animated in how he does things. So yeah, it just really lends to that culture. And honestly, that's where he made his name the biggest, was in Japan. And then with the development and introduction of AEW, and then obviously, he's He knows the Bucks really well. He obviously is a superstar talent. So to get him in there straight away and have kind of him be one of your flagship guys helps out a lot and expands his brand, even though he probably didn't even need it. But yeah, just a fantastic worker. I got to wrestle him once. It was a great match. It was at Battle of Los Angeles, I think 2009, I want to say, maybe 2010. But it was when I was on my way out. And we had a great match, and I remember talking to him about it, and he goes, man, that was such a fun match, and I saw it recently, and he goes, that match could hold up anywhere. And I was like, thank you, man. Thank you. It was such a great, heartfelt thing he said to me, and I really appreciated it. So just overall, when I knew him, such a great guy. I've been out of the business for a while, but man, yeah, just super talented, super good person, just all around.
You're never out of the business, Scotty. Because you and I are doing a panel today on wrestling and comics. I know squat about wrestling for the most part. I mean, obviously in the family with Paul, but Kenny Omega is a major talent, and he does not roll off the tip of my tongue because I'm a layman. I'm not in that world, but I so remember seeing him there in that rec center in freaking Encino or something, and I loved it. And I look forward to doing a panel with you. But I think what I love about you the most, Scott, beyond your talent in comics and your talent in wrestling, is you're just a good dude. You're just a sincere guy. And Paul had, I think I met you maybe 20 years ago during the PWG stuff through Paul. But seeing you again, doing a panel with you and then talking to you over the last year, everything Paul says about you is true. You are just a good dude. You are really, really positive and supportive of not just the SoCal comic scene and probably the SoCal wrestling scene that I'm really it's not in my purview, but also the Filipino art scene and stuff like that. That stuff is important. That level of representation is huge. And on your social media, I see you being active in it and promoting it. And that is so important. And so I think, dude, I just love talking to you. I love hanging with you. I love being on panels with you. And I really hope you enjoyed Hear the Prophecy. I hope you dug that little love letter to Paul. And I just gave you issue 2.
Yeah, I was, you gave me issue 1 last year when we did that panel together at San Diego Comic-Con. And I was so excited. I was like, oh man, Paul's talked about you over the years, when we were, not only is Paul my buddy, but he's also a former tag partner. And so he would talk about you a lot because I would talk about comics. He goes, my brother's really into comics. He's a writer. You're an artist. You guys should hook up and do stuff together. And so he's always championed you and, talking about you being such a great guy. So I appreciate all of that. And yeah, it's going to be great doing that panel together and it'll be fun, man. And getting to know you and talk to you over the year has been super fun. And I just handed you one of my books and I was happy to...
I'm stoked.
I was happy to back issue 2 because issue 1 was such a fun read and the art was fantastic. So writing, art, top notch. So yeah, I was like, yeah, I gotta, not only is he my buddy, but I gotta back it because I want to read it. So thank you so much for hand delivering it. I always appreciate that. And so, hey, it saves you a couple of bucks on shipping. I get it directly from the creator. That's a win-win. So I appreciate you dropping it off to me.
Brother, you are family. You're family, dude. And let's link up at Comic-Con Revolution. Where I just found out I'm doing some panels there and love Comic-Con Revolution, dude. That is the unsung convention of Southern California. It is the hidden gem. And the people that they get is insane. They get top-notch talent there. And I know I'm going to be doing a few things there this summer or in May. And then I'll see you in San Diego, dude. And we'll keep it going there. Whatever you need to do at the Comic-Con booth in San Diego, you come do it. You come shake hands, you use it as a base of operations. I don't care, man. Your family. And that's what Geekscape is. Yeah, man. It's family. Where can people find you till then online?
You can find me at Scott Lost, SCOTTLOST, on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. You could find me at Facebook, facebook.com/Scott Lost. You can find all of my books at accidentalaliens.com, Second Shift, Minimum Wage Superheroes, Wanderers of Milsanda, Anthropomorphic Dinosaurs versus Humans. You can find a couple of my other short stories in Astounding Adventures #1. It has Granite Part 1 and Paradise Hills Part 1 inside of those. Granite is 2 teenagers caught in the middle of an alien invasion, and one of them has superpowers. Paradise Hills is Studio Ghibli meets Pixar storytelling. You have your main character. He's Mexican Filipino. He talks directly to the camera. He introduces you to his abuela, his lola, his tios, his titos. So you get the interaction from both cultures, and then you get off into the fantastical, as those Pixar movies and Studio Ghibli movies tend to do. And so you can check all that stuff out over at accidentalaliens.com.
That story is the one. That's the one I want to know. That's what I want to see. That story. That sounds great. Scott, thanks for everything, man. I'll see you when I come and scoop you for the panel. I'm going to come back by the booth and get Scott so he does not miss the panel.
I will if you do.
Would you have missed it, really?
I set an alarm, and it would have taken me some time to find it. I would have gotten there. I don't know if it would have already started, but I would have been there eventually. I did set the alarm.
I got you, bro. Thanks, Geekscapists. Geekscapists, I'm here with Kevin Strong. He's a stranger to me, but I walked past his booth. It had metal and punk rock all over it, and it was for a product called Punk Rock Time Machine. There's what appears to be some videos playing, some graphic novels, a mask. There's all sorts of artwork with references to everything from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to looks like the Toxic Avenger. Nothing says more Geekscape than those things that I just listed. So I was like, dude, let me come over to your booth and let me ask you, what the hell is Punk Rock Time Machine?
Well, Punk Rock Time Machine is our band. We play punk rock that's pretty heavily thrash metal influenced, and all of us have alter ego characters and backstories and such. So we wrote a comic book about the story of our band and the Punk Rock Time Machine universe, and it all ties in with the music.
Kevin, that's amazing. I'm going to do a panel with one of the dudes from GWAR, one of the founders of GWAR, in about an hour and a half to talk wrestling and comic books, which is the topic of my comic, is pro wrestling and comics. And you are speaking our language, brother, mainly thrash punk. I'm going to have to ask you, what are some of your heavy influences when it comes to thrash punk?
Heavy influences. So I guess I would say my original kind of concept for the band would be like kind of Pennywise meets Skeleton Witch. I'm a big Megadeth fan. Children of Bodom's one of my favorite bands. We take influences kind of everything, like Suicidal Tendencies, Bad Religion, like kind of all sorts of like bands across the punk and thrash metal spectrum.
Yeah, dude, you just gained a couple followers from Geekscape because you're speaking our language. I think that whole, from where you guys are in San Luis Obispo all the way down to where you used to live in San Diego, like that entire area is peppered for the last 40 years from the bands that built that scene. Have you read that book, We Built the Scene? We Built the Scene is a narrative nonfiction book where they interviewed people from starting that San Pedro scene and building the tours that went all the way to DC. So you get everything from like Ian McKay on one side, and then you get everybody on the other side in San Pedro building that whole scene, and how they just built the entire tour scene. Because in the 90s, and the Geekscapists may know this from the 20 years we've been doing Geekscape, I may have told these stories because we've had punk rock bands on the show before. Growing up in Austin, I'm in the middle. And do you remember Maximum Rock and Roll in that zine? It was like a newspaper-looking zine. It was kind of thick, called Maximum Rock and Roll. It came out of Berkeley, but every year they would publish another newspaper-like print called Book Your Own Fucking Life. And Book Your Own Fucking Life had listings of record labels, of bands, of people like me who knew rec centers. You could put bands up to play shows. And it was pre-internet, so you could just pick up a copy once a year of Book Your Own Fucking Life, find bands, find record labels, find contacts at all these places, call them up, and say, hey, I see the Bouncing Souls are playing San Antonio. Would they be interested in doing a date in Austin? I can get them a show. Then next thing you know, they're playing your mom's boyfriend's bingo hall. That was me. I did that, but we broke a window. It was nice. I had to pay him $35 because we had to replace a giant damn window. But those are the stories that I feel a kinship to. So when you start telling me things like Pennywise and these bands are so important to us over the last 30, 40 years, I'm like, fuck yes. Punk Rock Time Machine. You just took me through your own time machine, brother. That's amazing. Tell me about the alter egos. Tell me about the comic. Tell me the Geekscapists where they can find your stuff.
All right, so I'm Clint Spacewood. I'm a punk rock space cowboy from the future. I'm the last free man in a universe that's been taken over by evil lizard people called the Repticunts. So in order to defeat the replicants, I had to build a time machine and travel back in time to find the greatest warriors from the humanity's past. So way back in the prehistoric area, I found our rhythm guitarist. His name is Cro-Magnon Dong. He's a caveman.
Is that your buddy Sean here? Sean, are you Cro-Magnon Dong? You got a Cro-Magnon Dong?
Yeah. Smash fuck.
That's the thing. Yo, yeah, it's a little less clean than I Am Groot, but I got what you're putting down.
Yes, and so next I traveled to the Roman era and recruited a gladiator, Cannabis Maximus. That would be our lead vocalist. And then I traveled to the Amazon rainforest. We got a shaman, Chief Slappinskins, which you might be able to tell from the name, is the drummer. And then from the Viking area, we have Queef Ehrenbadge, the mighty bass player, Viking warrior.
Man, I really hope your music doesn't suck, man, because this is fucking awesome. I love this. I hope my ears don't. I hope I don't. A buddy, we're friends with this band called Punchline that do a lot of our podcasts here and there, and they told a story of they were at a bus stop, and they saw, what's his name, Black Flag. They saw Henry Rollins, and they were like, "Dude, we're not gonna get a chance like this. Let's take our CD over to Henry Rollins." They take it over to Henry Rollins, and say, "Hey, we're on tour. Here's our CD." And they're not an unknown band. This is while they were on Fueled by Ramen, which is a pretty sizable label. And they give the CD to Henry Rollins. They're sitting there. They're hanging out for about 30 minutes, getting recouped before they get back in the van and go. They get a knock. Henry Rollins comes barking back over. He goes, "Here's the CD back, guys. It's really not my thing." To his credit, he was nice enough to be like, "Hey, guys. Here's a CD. Feel free to make some money off of it. Sell it at your show. Just not my thing, man." But they took the swing. But dude, I'm down. You listed a bunch of shit that I'm into.
Yeah, right on, man.
So growing up, Kev, what was your early influence in punk? You listed the bands that influenced the project, right? But that's Punk Rock Time Machine. But I distinctly remember being a fan of Billy Idol, being a fan of the Ramones, but not really knowing what the modern version of that stuff was post 80s, and really having to like borrow. I was like listening to my older brother's metal CDs or really tapes at the time. I was listening to his Iron Maiden stuff, or I was listening to his Red Hot Chili Pepper stuff and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I like the Spin Doctors. They're fun. They don't speak to me. Oh, I listen to the Crash Test Dummies a lot, but now I get that stuck in my head. It doesn't speak to me. And then I discovered Kerplunk, the Green Day album, because it had the cover. It looked like a comic book, and I knew I loved comic books. And that blew the lid open. I was like, oh, the doors are off. Now I'm just all about it. That whole scene that you go from Lookout Records, you go to Fat, you go to Epitaph, you start doing all the whole thing. How was that journey for you growing up, Kevin?
Well, I mean, growing up, I was really like just mainly a metalhead. As far as punk rock, I'd say the band that like really made it click for me would probably be Youth Brigade, which our singer had like one of their CDs, and we were in another band. Like we'd kind of tour around in this like a old school bus we converted, and he just put that CD in one time, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like something about their kind of sound and like the vocal style and stuff, like it just really clicked in my head. And then I mentioned Pennywise too. Like something about like, especially like a guitar tone, it always kind of sounded a little metal for me. So that kind of, I would say, kind of like allowed my brain to get into punk. Like be like, oh, this is good too. You know, it's not just like shred and like Satan and stuff. Like punk is also cool.
Yeah, and just south of you've got Lagwagon, No Use for a Name, like all those bands that were coming out of Santa Barbara too. So, dude, we are kindred spirits here. Oh, yeah, all right? Listen, don't put me in the band. I'll die immediately. Like you guys are running around trying to save the future from lizards. No, I'm dead. I'm dead within seconds. But it sounds like you have some, you're in good hands here with a giant donged caveman here. You yourself know you've got the history. You've been through time. You know where they're coming. But Geekscape, this is what I wanted you to do. You're going to go to the website Kevin's about to tell you about, and you're going to learn more about Punk Rock Time Machine. And dudes, let's collaborate. Let's figure out what we can do here. Geekscapists, I want you to go find the music. I want you to go find the graphic novels. I want you to do all this stuff. Where can people find your stuff?
All right, so our website's really easy to find. It's just punkrocktimemachine.com. And beyond that, like our music's on pretty much every streaming service. It's on Bandcamp. You can find it there. We got a bunch of videos on YouTube that are all fully animated and all that. So, yeah, check it out.
I love it. Kev, guys, Magnum Dong, thank you for giving me the time. Thanks, dude.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, you're awesome, dude.
Geekscapists, when you wander around WonderCon, you don't know who you're going to run into, and sometimes you see friends from the past. But, I mean, I keep up with him pretty well. I know that he's got some brand new toys. I'm talking about my good friend Gavin Hignight and his company, Wandering Planet Toys, which has been really, really successful on the Kickstarter. They put out a Laurel and Hardy Kickstarter for these figures after licensing, I guess, the Laurel and Hardy estate. And holy crap, did this thing pop off. They're back with brand new Kochak, the Night Stalker toys. And it's going to blow up too. Gavin, I know you're a big fan of the toys and all of that, but holy crap, did you expect all this stuff to pop off the way it did?
Hey, good to see you. Yeah.
Good to see you, dude. Sorry, good to see you, man. It's been like a year or two.
It's been a little bit, yeah. Doc and I, who put together Wandering Planet Toys, we're just, we really kind of target stuff that we like. And, with The Prisoner, which we launched with, there was that question. Are toy collectors also Prisoner fans? Are Prisoner fans also toy collectors? The answer was yes. And so we're like, okay, we won that one. Let's try it again. Are Nancy Drew fans toy collectors? Yes. And I'm a lifelong Laurel and Hardy fan. And we've never seen them explored in this modern 1/12 high quality style. So we did it again. And that one, what's interesting is that it did really well on Kickstarter. And then we went on to do a Big Bad Toy Store exclusive version. And it was like gangbusters. It really did well. So, even for comedians who are, 100 years since they teamed up, there's an appetite for collectibles. It was amazing. I'm a lifelong Kolchak fan, and so is Doc. And it was just another one of those, we love it. We know other people love it. We collect toys. Maybe there's a crossover. And so we put together the Kickstarter. Most of our first wave is always on a Kickstarter. And we launched it about 2 weeks ago. We funded in the first 24 hours. So we were like, okay, once again, here is a really cool fandom, a really cool character that deserves a figure that didn't get it. And now, all these years later, we're all coming together and making it happen. I think our Kickstarter closes in about a week, and it's running strong. And I'm excited because we're here at WonderCon selling Laurel and Hardy physically, which feels like a victory. And at the same time, we're chatting people up and being like, hey, if you think it's crazy we made this, we made Kolchak the Night Stalker. And what? So, yeah, long-winded way of saying it's working somehow.
I'm super proud of you, man. Super, super, super proud of you because you're one of my favorite people, man. And here's something. This is probably 10, 15 years ago. I remember you and I sitting down at the Hilton food court and talking about your TV pitch. You shot 3 episodes.
Oh, yeah.
And I moderated the panel for you at LA Comic-Con. It's how I met Eric Bauza.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Bauza.
And I still wear the shirt.
Love it. I love
and
it.
We kept talking about if we could do stuff, we could do this. And I told you, Hear the Prophecy.
That's right.
And I just gave you the comics.
Yeah, I know.
And, dude,
It takes some time.
It takes some time. And we both went to Kickstarter to make these things happen, and it was fucking cool. I'm so inspired by what I see you doing because obviously you're a TV writer as well, but who knows what the hell that industry is going to do? We were on ice for a year with the strikes. What are we going to do? So here you are with your own, you have agency. You're putting it into action. You're an inspiration to me, Gavin. That's what I had. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. It is funny, right? Like, here we are, another full circle moment. And, through crowdfunding, through fan communities coming together, thank goodness, we're able to kind of make this cool stuff. And Doc and I make the figures. It's like a side hustle. It's an act, we do it because we love it. It's, we want these toys too. But it is interesting with where the TV animation industry is right now and entertainment. My side hustle is kind of becoming my hustle. And, there's some interactivity. A lot of the toy properties a lot of the shows I've written are for toy properties. So there's, it's all related: media, toys, characters. But yeah, it's nice to have something positive to focus on, like this toy release, when my normal day job stuff is so stressful, because it's really weird right now. But yeah, and we're gonna keep doing it as long as we keep a roof over our head. The nice thing is that Wandering Planet is self-sufficient. Every figure line we've done has been successful, and money's gone back into the company. So we're gonna keep doing it. We'll eventually pick something so obscure and stupid and weird. We won't, we'll hurt ourselves, but it'll still be fun. So
I look forward to it just because the quality is so high. You guys actually game your chances pretty good, because the quality on these toys are great. Geekscapists, go find the Wandering Planet stuff. Go find Gavin's stuff, because these toys are wonderful. And if you're like Laura and Hardy, what? That's not my audience. I'm a little too young for that. Or Kolchak the Night Stalker, I'm too young for that. Well, you got people in your lives who grew up on those shows, or who appreciate that stuff, and you want to go find the stuff for, like The Prisoner. Like, The Prisoner was our parents, but you still got people who are either retro fans or fans of old school TV from the 60s, 70s who would love this kind of stuff. So go find it. These also make very good gifts for the older geeks.
yes,
If you're not a retro appreciator. Dude, Gavin, I love that I walked in and just saw you and was like, who's that handsome dude? Who's that handsome drink of water? Do you remember that lunch?
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah.
I think about it a lot. I'm like, oh man, I think we need those like buoys to keep ourselves afloat.
Totally.
Where it's like, all right, let's just talk about getting the shit beat out of us by the entertainment industry.
Yeah, totally.
And it's like, yeah, me too, dude.
Yep.
Me too. Oh man, this pizza, not that great, but the conversation.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Well, dude, use Geekscape whenever you need it.
Oh,
we have
appreciate it.
more than enough shows to have you guest on and this and that.
We'll dive deep soon. We have a fun one coming.
Oh, I'm stoked. I'm stoked for your entire Kroll line.
Oh yeah, yeah. One of these days. Yeah.
Hey, kids, remember Time Bandits? Now you can have the toys.
Actually, Plastic Meatball has Time Bandits down the aisle.
Oh, they made Time Bandit toys?
They have them. They're cool.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Love it. I love it. I can't wait.
Used to it.
I can't wait for Ice Pirates then.
That's what I'm on. Yeah. Well, we'll get back to you.
It's the space herpes.
Yeah. That's going to be a variant exclusive.
Bye, Geekscapists. Geekscapists, we're here on the floor with our good friend Derrick Acosta. He's been on Geekscape several times to promote his successful Kickstarters. The first one was for Phobia, his ensemble book that was so well written, so well designed, this horror book that it makes me sick to read. Makes me really freak out, and then I can't sleep, and you're here selling Phobia. Let's talk about your more recent Kickstarter that closed like a week or two ago successfully for your film Pinhole.
That's right.
And let's talk about that, because you already started shooting. Just kidding, I'm putting words in your mouth, but that is the speed at which Mr. Derrick Acosta works.
Pinhole, the psychological thriller, will be coming out this year at the end of 2026. We have not started shooting yet, but we are a few weeks away. We're in pre-production. We are locking our cast in place, locking our locations, and doing a little bit more fundraising, because why not? Why not? Let's shoot for the moon. The Kickstarter was extremely successful, and that got us going. And everything now is just sprinkles on top of the cupcake, as they say. I always love a good dessert analogy when I'm talking about making a movie, I eat the whole... I can't think of another dessert analogy. I eat the whole pie.
Yeah.
I
would say you left no crumbs.
Yeah.
You left no crumbs with this Kickstarter. And Geekscapists, the reality is with filmmaking, yeah, they had a successful Kickstarter. It was great. But you and I are trading texts, and I'm like, dude, that definitely gets you going. I know who you are working with, and you've talked about your group. I've seen some of the titles that they put together. I see how they're doing things like selling product placement and putting together sponsors for the film and doing it in a really badass indie way, very smart way. But when it comes to filmmaking, stuff comes up. You got things happening, and filmmaking is also very expensive, and it is a long road. So they're gonna need the help as they go along, and Geekscapists, we're going to help them out. Because, dude, I thought your Kickstarter video was fucking awesome. And you were like, yeah, we shot that in 2 hours. Yeah. That's what I hate about it. It's like, damn, that looked good. That looked like that trailer was awesome. Yeah, I shot it in 2 hours. We had it in 20 minutes. I used CapCut.
Well, you know what I'm going to do? If we don't raise any more money, I'm going to go scrappy guerrilla style. I'm going to be stealing shots. I'm going to be walking in to the store. They're going to be like, who is this guy? Why has he got a camera? I'm going to start reciting lines. I'm just going to film it, breaking all the rules. If we raise more money, then the location gets, the stay out of jail money. Exactly. But I'll go to jail for this movie if that's what it takes. You got to be scrappy these days.
He's going to do fine. Why is he going to do fine? Because he's smart and talented. At the end of the day, you're smart and talented, Derrick, and I'm not being facetious.
Throwing up the X. He's like, don't say this on the recording.
No, say it on the recording. I will go and I will be a character witness at your trial.
Yeah, all right. Cool.
I'll be like, that man wouldn't hurt a fly, but he definitely would steal a location in a convenience store. Yeah. For sure. And thank goodness the owner didn't hit him with those bullets, but they got the shot.
Well, I heard David Fincher stole locations for The Social Network, that he wasn't allowed to shoot at Harvard, so he just had a guy go set up lights and pretend to do some, performance art. Like, ooh, what's this guy doing with these lights? Very avant-garde, and the camera's rolling the whole time.
I wouldn't put it past him. And there's, you know what? You're gonna, Derrick, you're gonna end up stealing locations.
Yeah.
Like at an indie budget level, including sometimes in the millions of dollars, you're going to steal some shots. You're going to steal some locations. You're going to tell your DP on a half day off, hey, go out and shoot some shots, dude. Go out and shoot some establishing shots. Go shoot some stuff that could be B-roll.
San Diego. It's not like LA. In San Diego, they're like, oh, you're shooting a movie? You want to come on in?
Can I be in it?
Let me tell you this.
Can I be in it? In San Diego, it's can I be in it?
Yeah, you can be in it. Can I tell you a real story? I do Mega 64. It's my bread and butter, my YouTube channel, mega64.com. Go check it out. We did a video game out in public skit based on Shadows of Mordor, the Lord of the Rings video game. Full orc makeup, full green skin, ears, crooked nose, weapons. And in the skit, 2 orcs walk into a really high-end restaurant, and they're just talking to the guests, talking shit. We didn't have permission to do this. We just sent them in there. And then I go in dressed as a raider with my sword, and I slay these orcs. Yeah, like Puerto Rican Aragorn, basically. That's me. Because I'm Puerto Rican Aragorn. I slay these orcs. In the video game, you can suck their soul out by putting your hand on their brain. I do that. I put my hand on their skull. I'm screaming in the restaurant. Cast a spell. They drop dead. The restaurant starts applauding. The owner of the restaurant comes up and he's like, I should pay you guys to do this every week. That was awesome.
It's like dinner theater. Yeah. You're basically doing dinner theater. Did you take the gig?
No, we were like, well, thank you, and you will never see us again.
No, do it. Do it. How awesome would it be if you did dinner theater? Hey, look, one of your buddies in the Aquabats is walking by.
Oh yeah, that's the guy who drives the Aquabus.
There's an Aquabats fan in full Aquabats gear, literally walking past as we're recording, and frequent collaborators of yours with Mega 64, front buddies, the Aquabats. That's awesome. Just kismet.
Concert ever was the Aquabats when I was 16 years old. We talked about this.
We did. We talked about it on Geekscape.
16 when you went to a concert for the first time? I was like, yeah, I was a nerd. Okay, I was sheltered.
I mean, you could get a gun. I mean, I would have counted a concert that you went with your parents.
No, my parents didn't take me to concerts. They're not cool.
I remember I think technically, did I say this? That my first concert was the dude who sings "If You Like My Body and You Think I'm Sexy," the British dude. Was it Rod Stewart?
Yeah, Rod Stewart.
And it was a date my mom was on, and I went with she's a single mom now. She's suddenly a single mom. I had to go to Rod Stewart with my mom on a date to the sexy song.
You're like that kid in the New Wave club with the hands in the pocket dancing like you're all cool.
Just vibing to Rod Stewart. Yeah. Here we go. Things are getting weird around me. I'm feeling uncomfortable. That's not my dad.
That's why you're so punk rock these days. They started you early. The Rod Stewart. They just moved on from there.
Derrick, whatever you need, whether it's from Pinhole, Phobia Volume 2. Yeah, I'm putting that bug in your ear. That's happening. That's on the table.
That'll be after Pinhole. I just gave you the debut. See, that's how good of an interviewer you are. I haven't announced that anywhere, but yeah, after Pinhole, after the movie, we're going to be moving on to Phobia Volume 2. It's coming back. It's going to be scarier than the first one.
Fuck that.
Yeah, it's going to be way more heinous. So the first one was kind of mild, I think.
Okay, well, we're on board for that. We'll promote it. We're in. And, dude, best of luck with Pinhole and the production. And you're the man to get it done. I know. I believe in you, dude. I am fully behind you.
Can I give some inspirational advice to your listeners? Pinhole.
Do it in song.
No. I wish I would have made this movie 10 years ago. You know what I mean?
Of course.
And I felt like I was never ready. And somebody I respect said, "You're more than ready. Just jump in." And so I did. And now I'm kicking myself. Like, why did I wait so long? So if you're listening to this and you have your movie you've been sitting on for 10 years, you're more than ready. You're gonna wish you did this a decade ago yourself. So get it rolling today. And that's all I have to say.
I think it's beautiful. But could have also been done in song.
La 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 la.
Geekscapists, we'll talk to you later. Derrick, thank you. Love you, man. Whatever you need.
Thank you. Thank you. No more interviews like this.
All right, that was WonderCon 2026 through the microphone of yours truly, Jonathan London, walking the floor there at WonderCon 20 years into Geekscape. Wow, I cannot believe it. Cannot believe it. Ran into so many friends that we'd amassed over the years. WonderCon is in Anaheim. It's right in LA. Basically, it's like right in LA's backyard. One county over, 1 hour away. We used to exhibit there. There's just so many people that you run into at a local con that, they become family. They become friends. It was great meeting you. It was great meeting some new people like punk rock, those punk rock guys. What the fuck? Punk rock time machine. What the fuck was that? That was new. They weren't family. They weren't friends, but we know we're on each other's radars now. What the hell was that? Just cool discovery. But yeah, that's WonderCon. Let's keep the energy going, even though my voice is long gone. Let's keep the energy going into the next episode, traditionally here at the Geekscape studios, and then let's take it into the convention season. I think the next convention is rock and roll time machine. Oh man, these cartoons they were showing me, what the fuck. Comic-Con Revolution is the next one. I will be hosting panels there. Christian Blatt will be hosting panels there. Geekscape will have a presence at Comic-Con Revolution. Hopefully, some of our panels get into San Diego Comic-Con. Regardless, we will be there at the Comic-Con booth. Maybe the fucking punk rock time machine kids will drop by. Scare Matt Kelly. There he is. Hold him down. What was the name of their characters? Like Corporal Schlongdong or something like that. What the hell was that? Captain Cumstains. Oh man, that was weird. I had to bring it to you. It is my job here at Geekscape to bring you that shit. Enjoy. All right, that's it for Geekscape. Shoot me an email, jonathan@geekscape.net. Follow us on the socials. Promote this with your friends. Go check out some of Shane's work from PAX East and all the work from the Geekscape Network and your family. So listen to us next time. All right? Peace.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.